Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of 15 Good Minutes. This is Coach B. Freddie, how you doing, buddy?
Well, and you?
I'm good, man. I'm really happy today, man. I'm wearing some Largo blue today, right? I'm wearing some colors because we have got a special guest on the podcast today. We have got Coach CheVon Giles, who is someone that I've known since he was a teenager. I've watched him grow first as a player, then as a young man, then as a coach, and more recently, I got to watch him and his crew go out there and get a state championship last week. Congratulations, Coach! So glad that you got some time to spend with us today, man.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So we're gonna. Coach Mason is we don't know where he is, but typically we just gonna rock. If he pops in, we'll get him. One of the things that I want to do, the reason I wanted to bring you is because, our podcast basically is run by a bunch of former assistant coaches. And I think that the view that the assistant coach has, no matter the sport, and, Coach Jordan was at Gonzaga Prep here in DC. He's now in Dallas. I think the things that we see at our level and the things that we do, don't get recognized enough. And I saw some things in you and the other assistant coaches these past few weeks, and I want to bring it to light. So we're just gonna start off, and Freddie and I are just gonna ping pong a little bit, Coach. So I'm gonna turn it over to Freddie to start, ask a couple questions, and then we'll just vibe with you. Freddie, over to you.
All right. First of all, congratulations, Coach Giles, to you and the Largo Lions on your championship.
Thank you.
We all know it's tough to, to get to that point, but you guys gotten to the summit, the top of the summit, and you were the last team standing. So congratulations to you, the rest of the coaching staff, and the players, the parents, the administration. Congratulations to you all.
Thank you.
You guys play in PG County, which is, highly competitive. Can you talk about how competitive the league is? And also, can you tell me about, was there ever a point in the season that, particularly in the start of the season, to where you kind of may have said, hey, I don't know if we can make it, or when you said, hey, we can do this?
So I could speak on the level of competition in PG County from my experience and from coaching. I think PG County gets a lot of, public school, PG County basketball gets a lot of downplay, more than I would say the private schools. And I think that it's like that because of the resources that they have and that we don't have. But I think that helps the kids grind more to get to that next level. Because like a lot of schools, a lot of colleges, they don't come out to like a lot of the public school games, or their practices like they do the private school. So that gives them public school kids a chip on their shoulder. So now when they're going out to play, it's like, all right, we battling for the pretty much the same lunch. So now everybody's on trying to go at each other. You got the coaches battling, but it's all friendly competition at the end of the day. So it pushes everybody to be the best player and the coach that they could be. And to answer your second question, about have I ever thought that it was going to be a downtime where we weren't going to make it? Honestly, that thought never came across. Just been as though we were going off of our momentum from last season, where we made it to the state championship and lost. So going into that following year, well, not even the year, that summer. Soon as the season ended, we took 2 weeks off and we were back in the gym. So we had already put that mentality in our coaches' head and the kids' head that this is where we're going to be, and we're not going to leave here without something.
And like piggybacking on that, so pick up from that point, right? When you start summer league, right? You got this thing that's freshly in the back of your mind. You were right there. You were one of the last two teams standing, and you guys didn't make it. What was the program like, starting with summer league, working all the way up to March the 16th? What, in other words, how did you guys stay so locked in from that very beginning up to that state championship game?
It pretty much started with the coaches, because we lead by example. We the first point of contact when it comes to the kids. So if they see that we're panicking and not locked in, they're gonna follow. So it had to start there. So we pretty much put down the system that look, we doing this, and this in the summertime, and it's gonna be different than when it was last summer. So we pretty much prepared the kids. Granted, our summer wasn't the best summer that we would have liked it to been. But we knew going into the summer, we were just preparing to get back to where we were next year. We weren't really worried about the wins and losses of the summer because you don't have a record in the summertime. So in the summer, we're worried about playing that last game of the season in March. So summertime is just preparation for us and to see what we working with going into next year and trying to just fix things. So and by us staying on top of that, it helped the kids a lot.
One of the things that I found interesting was during the after you guys won the game on Saturday, at the post game press conference, one of the questions that was asked to Coach Ward was why in your non conference games did you schedule so many tough opponents? And he must have rattled off 6 or 7 to include at the Governor's Challenge. I think the first game
Mhm.
in that was against the Virginia, like 6A state
Previous state
champion,
champions.
you know what I mean,
Yep.
from the previous year.
Hmm.
And Coach Ward was basically saying that, you do those things to build championship teams and championship caliber. Do you feel the same way? And what was it like for you guys going up against? I mean, these weren't slouches. Every one of them, whether it
Yeah.
was private school or public, coach, was
Hmm.
championship caliber teams.
Hmm. So everything that Coach Ward goes through, I trust him 100%. And I think him scheduling those games helped our kids build character. Win or lose, like for instance, when we played St. John's, we all went to that game with great confidence. Great confidence. Our kids were ready,
It was
but
early.
it was early. It was early. We was at a tough environment and we was at St. John's too. So and their kids definitely came to play as well. But scheduling those games helped us win the state championship. It prepared us for those up and coming games. And by him scheduling those games at the Governor's Challenge when we played in the Bowie State tournament, we were able to play on college land floors, also preparing us for that state championship run. So Coach Ward, he definitely knows what he's doing when he's scheduling these games.
It's true. One of the we were talking as a group before you came on, and one of the questions that Coach Mason was interested in was, can you talk about you scouting, you specifically, and how you put your scouts together and then use that scout to prepare your team for an opponent?
So I could go on days and on and on and on about my, but pretty much I love to get full detail on what the player does, what his counter moves, what makes him frustrated, his weaknesses, even down to the coaches. Like I listen to every detail, like the play calling, um, the out of town plays, the baseline play. So I go to the games, I watch them online. I may watch 3 games in one day on the team, just because I'm trying to be mentally locked in. So pretty much when I do the scout, I go from the starters to their subs, when the timeless subs came in, who they subbed in for, their potential matchups, pretty much everything. And I just preach that to our kids. And our kids do a good job of taking in that information and going out and executing it. So I pretty much I write down the detailed a player personnel for each one of our kids. I give it to them. I tell them to study it. And then I ask them questions on it right before the game. Like, so
Right.
such and such, I'm like, Cam, what does your man do? They'll tell me. Jalen, what does your man do? They'll tell me. And that's how I know that they read the scout, they locked in on the scout. And when they go out and actually do stop those guys from doing those things, I was like, yeah, we did a good job on that scout. So
There's one thing I'm
I,
going to say too, and I'm biased, right? For me, when I was coaching, scouting was critically important, and I did a lot of it. And in 25 years of coaching at the public school level, there's been two people who scout I respected. And one of them's Ant Brown, and the other one is Coach Giles. And that's straight up. I watched your scouts last year, and the level of detail was incredible. I want to take a minute, and I'm going to read something to you here that came in today. It says, I think Coach Giles' scouting preparation for this past season has been nothing short of amazing. His scout to help Coach Ward develop the game plans was key to the team's success. At certain points during this season, I heard him yell out the opposing team's plays to our team while the game was in motion. His attention to detail was also impeccable. This season, he really has taken on the reign of development as a young coach and managing expectations from the head coach. If he continues on this path, he will make a good head coach someday if he wishes. That comes from Coach Gatson, who's been a part of the program since 2008. Those are high praise. But hang on a sec. I got one more. It says Che means a lot to the program. He makes basketball easy for the kids because of how detailed he is. He can hoop too. So it's easier for a kid to really listen and respect him because they see he can hoop. He does all the team scouting, has an eye for breaking things down, and just willing to go the extra mile for anything the program needs. He is the definition of a hoop head. That comes from assistant coach Abdul Bundu. And so again, those are critically important things, man, that I think, without that level of detail, coach, you don't have your kids prepared at that level. You can't afford not to be prepared. To your point about St. John's, everybody was coming for you guys this year. Everybody. I remember specifically, and I told this to Coach Ward, the early loss to Gwynn Park, for them, it was like a Super Bowl. For them, it really was. You understand? But I'm like, no, I don't ever want to lose a game. But I felt that game was a turning point in the season because, to Coach Jordan's point, the league is so strong. You look at who you had to play to get to Xfinity, right? And so I think that level of preparation is something that just can't go unheralded. So, I'm saying I'm biased because I like the scouting is important. And for the rest of us, I really, really appreciate what you do. Coach Mason's in the group. Looks like he's in the room. I see him. What's up, buddy?
Hey, man. Hey, what's up? Sorry, guys. Hey,
what's going on, Coach?
Coach.
Thank you.
How you doing, CheVon?
I'm good. And yourself? How you doing?
Wow, it's come full circle, man. I'm proud of you guys, man. You done well.
Thank you.
You guys.
Thank you.
Hey, let me ask you a question, man. You guys built a good program like pretty quickly. I mean, what do you think? And even before, I mean, when you first started, you guys were gradually getting there. And I'm talking about 2016 or so, 17. You guys really, really headed. What do you think was a good formula, to get you guys there? How did you? First of all, let me say, I know you knew the way we used to do in Largo, and I know there must be some portion of that brought over, but there had to be some other progression of the staff. To let me know a little bit about that, man.
Honestly, I would say majority of it came from how y'all coached us when we was at Largo. Granted, we had to take it down a little bit because we dealing with a different generation of kids. So that was pretty much the biggest thing that we had to adjust to. But I think us the staff preaching that we all play for Coach Wood. We know what he's looking for. We know what he wants out of you. And when he's yelling at you, it's not because he hates you. It's because he loves you and he sees something out of you. And once they started to buy into that, then they started to actually trust what the program had to offer. And they seeing everybody keep coming back. And we like, they don't come back for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you touched on a point that my next question was, how do you guys deal with this new generation of ball players? Because you guys you were pretty easy. You had some mild stuff, but you guys are pretty easy. These guys now, they're a little different. How do you deal with that?
So pretty much, I I think it was 2016 when Coach Ward first got the head coaching position. He told us, he said, look, these kids, they not like y'all. Y'all were rough,
He's
y'all were
right.
ready, y'all were coachable. So he said, with these group of kids, you have to be more lenient with them. You have to be more patient with them, and you have to let some stuff slide. So we pretty much, it was an easy fix for me because the kids, they related to me a lot because I wasn't too far of an age gap between them, and they all looked at me like a big brother. So it wasn't hard for me as other coaches. But I would say it was definitely tough because I know back when we were playing, we couldn't say anything back to the coaches. We couldn't leave our jerseys at home. Now it's like, all right, go to the baseline. You gonna run, but that's about it.
But
Back then, we had to get out the gym. We had to, yeah. So it was definitely tough at first, but it was a quick adjustment though. And once the kids started really buying into it, we was able to implement some of the things that we were taught back in the day without it being any backfire from the kids. So once they adjusted to it, it was fine.
sounds like a future head coach somewhere, Russ.
Yeah, I think so. We already talked about that. I've been getting that all day. I think it takes a special person, as all of us can attest to, just to coach. I think a lot of people don't understand the time commitment. It's not just the 3 hours that you're at practice and game days. It's the meetings, the phone calls, the getting online, to looking at stuff, the driving the seat. It consumes you, if you're doing it the right way. And there's a lot of good folks who would be good coaches, but who can't commit to that level of detail. So I always I'm really happy to see when someone like you, Che, can do that, because I know what it takes. And to your point, you came up through the system. You came up through the system. And while we're at it, I would shout out Abdul, Kari, Timmy, and Big Zeke. Every one of those, I want to say kids, every one of those coaches played for us in addition to you. And I think it matters, right? I think that when you have that, you understand the culture, you understand the climate, you understand, and you've been through some highs and lows. All the years weren't good. And one of the things, I don't know if you thought about this, Coach, but in 16 years, Largo, the public school, has been to 4 state title games in 16 years. Won 2 of those. Yep. We all know programs that have, a ton of good coaches and good programs that don't even get out of their region. So can you speak a little bit to, that has to speak to the culture there to get there that many times. And as a former coach, I can tell you right now what the score was in 2012 when we lost by 6 points to Lake Clifton. I can see it every day. We had them on the ropes. We couldn't get it done. What is that culture like for you guys? Because that is a winning culture at the public school level.
It's a great culture, especially for the kids that's looking to come to Largo. They want to join a winning program. They want to join a program where they see kids being developed. And they want to play for a program that's more than basketball. And I think that's where it comes in, that as far as like the culture, it's deeper than basketball. So Coach Ward preaches all the time, it's a brotherhood, it's a family. You went off the court, you're gonna win on the court. So and I think that's where it starts, with everybody just being one. And when people see that from the outside, they want to buy into it. Everybody wants to be a part of that.
It's true statement. Everybody likes being a part of a winner.
Yep. Everybody comes out the woodwork too, don't they?
Yeah. Oh, they do. They do.
I got one more question for you, but I'm gonna go back to Coach Jordan. Freddie, you got anything before I get to the last question for Coach?
So I've heard a lot of great things about you, Coach Giles.
Thank you.
And me as a coach, I always had my eye on the next step in the process, whether it be, the next opponent, whether it be possibly the next level. Where do you see yourself? Now, I'm not saying that you got a job offer today. I know, you're fresh off the championship and nobody never likes to talk about leaving. but it's the reality, whether it's high school, college, professional, it's the reality. So where do you envision yourself being 5 to 10 years in the coaching profession?
Um, Within the next 5 to 10 years, I definitely would love to see myself either at another level or a head coaching position, or even if I'm still assistant with Coach Ward, that's fine with me. Um, I actually came into coaching. I wasn't even trying to coach at Largo. A lot of people don't know that. I came in to work kids out because I do player development. So I came in to work all of the kids out, and the athletic director, Coach Ball, told me I might as well coach. So ever since then, I've been coaching. But my passion for developing kids and seeing kids get to that next level, that's a big passion of mine. Like the guy who I watch all the time is Phil Handy. So I love Phil Handy's path to where he got, and pretty much that's where I would love to be one day eventually.
I knew that was a tough question for you, though.
Yeah, but that the phone,
I
the
had to
phone,
have some phone
the
calls.
phone has definitely been ringing
But
though. The,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
phone has
yeah. Once this
definitely
thing
been
go live, his
ringing.
phone gonna be buzzing. That's good stuff. Coach, I'm gonna get you out of here. I got a 2-part question for you. Having watched you guys play this year, and get to the point where you got the W on Saturday, there were games in that playoff run where you guys were down,
Mhm.
right? Can you talk first off about, how easy and if easy isn't the right word, let me know how you guys made the in-game adjustments that work so well, and then what does winning this championship mean to you?
So as you mentioned, we were down a lot. Well, not I wouldn't say a lot, but early in the playoffs, like first quarter, second quarter, like the first half of these playoffs, maybe 2 to 3 out of the 6 games we played. But going into the halftime, we pretty much it wasn't us, it was the kids. A lot of people were thinking, what did the coaches say to the kids? What did we yell at them? Nah, we talked to them. We just told them rebound the ball, get stops, and we're gonna win the game. The kids went out there and executed everything. Granted, we did make small adjustments throughout the game, in those second halves to help, but it was pretty much the kids being super locked in. We didn't want them to have the mentality that we are a second half team. We wanted to have the mentality that we're a whole full game team. But they knew second half it was go time. So it was pretty much the kids that were doing all of the adjustments themselves as far as coming out and being more competitive and just playing much harder. That
That
was
comes straight
it.
from experience, though, man. It has
Yeah.
to. Yeah.
And them smelling that state championship last year had a big part on them adjustments. Mainly from we had what I want to say 4 or 5 kids that played in that game that returned this year. And all of those kids wanted to get back there and they was going to do whatever it took to get back there.
That
And which
bad
they
taste is
did.
something. That that bad taste in your mouth really
Oh,
get to you.
and having to sit there and watch them celebrate, it ate everybody up. So that's that. So that goes into your next question about this state championship. It means a lot because having to sit there, watch, wipe away the tears of those kids, that it hurt. It hurt. So I took it upon myself to step my coaching game up this year. As far as the scouts, as far as me being more in tune with the kids, and practice being Coach Ward's second eyes, being the X's and O's, pretty much just trying to make Coach Ward's job easier and make the kids' jobs easier as well. So doing that, it helped us get to where we was at, especially the help from the other coaches as well. Like everybody, we took it upon ourselves to help Coach Ward out as much as we can. Like I have talks a lot with some of the coaches, and I be like, look, this is what you should do. This is what you should do when we like this is what I see that can help everybody. And it's no egos on the coaching staff. And that's the biggest thing there. Like we all take criticism, we all listen to each other because we all know it's for the kids at the end of the day.
I think that says a lot, and I do think that that's a continuation of how it was. I remember distinctly, like when you were a player, you know,
Mm,
um, Coach Ward sat in the chair that you sit in right now.
yep.
And my job was to advise him, not the head coach. And then he would decide, am I going to tell the head coach? Am I going to, sometimes you can't tell if Rock's listening to you or not, but he hears everything. There's not a more cerebral person on the planet. But to your point about no egos, and that, you know, what Coach Mason was doing, what Coach G was doing, right? What Coach Dyson was doing, what I was doing, we all were doing different things to make your job as a player easier and to limit or eliminate the confusion of where direction is coming from. So for me, it does my heart good to see that that is still the way. And I think that has a lot to do, you know, with Coach Ward and the way that he's just been used to coaching all this time. You know, I started coaching with him in the 90s in Virginia, and we both came to Largo at the same time. And so I see a lot of him in you, Coach. I see it because you're in that chair, and I think it's critically important what you're doing for that program, what you're doing for that school, what you're doing for that community, and what you're doing for that team. So we just want to take a moment to congratulate you again, to thank you for your effort and your time and your energy and everything that you put into it, to make that program as wonderful as it is, and to keep it going, man. Well done, extremely well done.
Thank you. I learned from the best.
Oh man, appreciate you.
Thank you.
You guys got anything for him before I wrap it up?
Just want to say congratulations again, CheVon. Enjoy your couple of months off, because you know it's going to start again soon.
They asking me now, am I coming to coach with AAU? I'm like, hold on, we just played last weekend.
Well, you know, yeah, you got the fever now, so you know I think you'll do well, and just continue, man, doing what you do.
Thank you.
We still watching you, man. We still looking at you, even though we're not with you. We still looking at you.
Thank you.
One of the things that we do, Coach, before we leave, we got this segment on the show. It's called I Got Something to Say. It can be about anything. So if you know, we're going to get in, we try to do it in less than a minute. So I'm going to start with you since you're our guest. You got anything you want to say today?
Nothing other than shout out Largo, 2A 2024 state champions.
Yes, sir.
We're going to try to run it back again next year.
Yes, sir. I love that. Freddie, what about you, man? You got something to say today?
In regards to Largo next year, what is the team looking like in regards to returning starters, seniors, upperclassmen, so on and so forth?
So we are graduating 4 seniors, but for the most part, majority of the team is returning. And we never know what walks through the door. We may have another gold mine that walks through the door. So we just prepare for anything. We rock with the guys who rock with us. We big on loyalty, heart loyalty and commitment. That's our thing.
Appreciate you, Mace. You got something to say today?
No, I'm good, man. You guys just have a good evening, and see y'all next time.
Well, I got something to say. Is like, this doesn't get released until Friday, so it's Tuesday as we tape it. But I just want all y'all to know that MLB The Show 24 came out today. I am the Los Angeles Dodgers. Come get some. Come get some. If you want it, you know how to reach out. I'm still on the PS4. Can't wait to get this baseball season going. And hopefully I'll get some competitive matches from my good friend who plays the Yankees, who's on this podcast. But I ain't gonna call you out, Mace. I ain't gonna do that because I ain't like that, right? So once again, you know, Shay, appreciate your time, brother. Thanks for everything. Really glad that you're able to join the show and shed some light on what it took for you guys to get there. Couldn't be more proud of you, your other coaches, your team, your staff, and your community. Thanks again, brother.
Thank you.